Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get into the Word of God. Let's go to the book of John, chapter number 2, and we're going to start a new series today. And it's going to be a series about the miracles of Jesus. And so naturally, we're going to look at the first miracle that he did, at least the first that he did that was recorded, that was a part of his ministry. And that is found in John chapter number 2. And out of all the Gospels, it is only found in the book of John. So verses 1 through 11, let's start reading with verse number 1. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. Now, first of all, isn't this very fitting that he begins his miracles at a wedding, which is kind of symbolic of beginnings, right? The beginning of a lifelong relationship, right? Is at a wedding, at a marriage ceremony. So I thought that was very symbolic, very powerful. Let's read on. Verse number 3. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. And verse 4. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. So it kind of seems like Mary already knew what Jesus was capable of. You know, that he was something special. I mean, of course, she's his mother, right? And so she saw him, grow up, and I suspect that he probably has had, well, first of all, even his birth was full of miracles and wonders and visitations from angels and things like that. And so his birth alone was pretty amazing, that Mary and Joseph were able to witness. And it sounds like Joseph probably already passed away because he's not mentioned in here. And so I think at this point Mary was already a widow. Excuse me. And Jesus was grown, and we know that he has siblings, already. So at some point, Joseph died before Mary did. So Mary is kind of trying to get Jesus to do something about it, and Jesus is saying, it's not my time yet. Mine hour is not yet come. Verse 5, his mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. So his mother she kind of does what my mother likes to do. It just kind of like, just have her way anyway. It's like, it was almost like she just like ignored what Jesus said and just went to the servant and said, do what he says, already expecting Jesus to do something about this dilemma, right? To save the party, to save the wedding, to save face for the bride and the groom. Excuse me. So let's keep reading here. Verse 6, and there were set there 6 waterpots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Now, a firkin is about 5 birgins and half schmergen. No, I'm just kidding. I totally made that up. No, I actually had to look this up. I didn't know what a firkin was. A firkin is like a quarter of a barrel, so equivalent to about 8 or 9 gallons. Okay, so it's not an exact measurement, but thereabouts. So that's quite a big pot. All right. Verse 7, Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. So you can see the faith of these servants who not only trusted Mary, who commanded them, said, you do whatever my son says. But when Jesus told them to fill it up with water, they did it. They obeyed him. They listened. And they didn't just fill it up, halfway. They filled it up all the way to the brim. Okay. Verse 8, and he saith unto them, Draw out now and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bear it. I mean, that's amazing. They know it was water. They're the ones that poured the water in it. And now they're being told to serve this water. But miraculously, the water turned into wine. Look at verse 9. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. but thou hast kept the good wine until now. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. So first of all, look at verse 11. The whole point of this miracle was not just to save the wedding, but it was for the glory of God. It was for the glory of the Lord and of Jesus Christ. It was the beginning of his ministry, revealing himself to be Messiah, to be the heir of David, the rightful king of the Jews, their rightful Messiah. And so that was the purpose of it all. And also so that it could be a sign unto those like his disciples who are watching. And from that point, his disciples believed. You see, so anytime, God ever wants somebody to believe and have faith, it always came with something. And for us in the church age, we have the Word of God. There's so much evidence and weight in the Word of God to prove the validity of God and the stories of the Bible. This is our sign, is the complete Word of God, which they did not have back then. So because they didn't have the complete Word of God, he needed to show a sign. And so he did miracles. And this was the first one. It was for his glory, not for the glory of the wedding or the groom or the bride. And I'm completely out of time. Thank you so much for joining me today. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.